I feel at some moment in our lives, we've all had that gut feeling of I am meant for more. I deserve more. I demand more. And I'm super honored to have Coach Heather here with me today because I really got to witness her having that gut feeling of I'm ready for more. Because when that feeling comes, we have two choices. We can either choose to do something with it and to take action and put ourselves out there, or we can ignore it, we can bury it and pretend it's not there. And she chose to take action, invest in herself, and I'm excited for us to dive into that.
Yes, I'm so excited too. And yes, there was a moment in my life where I knew that where I was at, I was not comfortable being there for forever. And we met at Shelby's wedding, and I, followed you on Instagram, things like that. And I was looking to hire a business mentor for months before I even met you. But once I saw what Coaching with Confidence was all about, and, all women learning confidence in front of social media, in front of the camera, and then on top of that, just the one-on-one business mentoring, I was drawn to it immediately. Like, I could not stop watching you guys on social media. And I remember talking with Isaac, my husband, about it, and even my dad too, and he was literally like, what are you waiting for? What's stopping you? And the only thing that I could think of was money. Realistically, I was not in a position in my life at that moment where I felt like I could put a ton of money into something, but our conversation definitely changed that, if you remember.
Yeah. Let's backtrack a little bit because I know so many women out there listening today can relate to this, whether it's investing in their business or investing in their health. It's so easy to let money be a stopper because I'm sure a lot of us don't have tons of extra money. And even if we did, there's always other things that we can spend money on, right?
100%.
And so what drove you to ultimately be like, you know what, even if I don't necessarily have the money, I'm going to do this anyways, and I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to bet on myself, because that's kind of what you do. You bet on yourself.
Yeah, honestly, a friend told me this. She said, you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to go to school and be in debt for half of your life, but you won't spend a chunk of that, a little tiny chunk of that, on someone who is in the exact same position that you want to be in, making a lot more than you want or that you have. And it hit me right then and there. That's like, no matter what situation I was in, I could figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, as adults, there's many ways or forms that we can get access to money that we don't currently have. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't let the amount stop me. I knew that investing in myself was the best option right then and there. And again, I just wasn't comfortable. I wasn't making as much as I wanted to make. And in order to make more, you have to lose sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm sure at that time you didn't realize just how powerful that decision was going to be, how much it was going to really transform your life in so many ways. And not just financially. Like, yes, I've seen you be able to double your income, which is awesome. But on a deeper level, I've truly seen you step out of your shell and step into this version of you that is so confident, that holds your head high, that goes after the things you want. And it's just been so transformative to see. And I imagine you probably didn't realize just how many doors were going to open, all because you decided, you know what, I'm going to believe in myself, I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to do this.
And that's exactly, I mean, you hit the head on the nail with it. Like, mindset-wise, mentality-wise, I was not in a place to grow before I got into Coaching with Confidence. And, you know, a lot of the mindset work and growing up as an athlete, I think it helped even more with that because, you know, on the field, they always tell you to envision what you're going to do next. And I never did that with my business until Coaching with Confidence. And I think that itself is what really helped me, is just envisioning what I really wanted, even if it's super far down the road and a really big dream or goal, but envisioning what I wanted and stepping into the person that would actually take action to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can also relate to this on a more personal level when it comes to health and wellness. And I'm sure many people out there can too, that we've all probably had that feeling of, wow, I'm not happy in my skin, right? At some point in our life, so many women we talk to inside Positive Psych community have that moment of, I'm not happy in my skin. And I remember having this in my young 20s. And that is such a hard conversation to have with yourself. Like, I truly feel the hardest part is being honest with yourself and actually admitting that you're not happy in your skin.
100%.
Taking a hard look in the mirror and being real with yourself, right? And then again, you have the choice of, am I going to ignore this feeling, pretend it's not there, and just brush it to the side and stay mediocre, stay settling with how I feel? Or am I going to do something about it? And odds are, if we choose to do something about, we're going to get uncomfortable. We're going to have to make a change that is not going to be easy, which I feel is actually what kind of stops people a lot of times.
Yeah, because being comfortable is the most easiest thing that you can do in life, whether it's your health, your career, your mindset. Staying where you are is so much easier than expanding, getting uncomfortable, and actually growing as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yet, that is oftentimes one of the most powerful things that we can do. And life is so freaking short. Like, if we're not feeling happy in our skin, if we know we are meant for more, yet we choose not to do anything about it, we are going to wake up one day with regret.
And resentment towards ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say to the woman out there who has that gut feeling of, I'm meant for more, I want more? Maybe it's with their health and wellness, or maybe it's with their business or something else. Like, what would you say to them if they were on the fence of investing in themselves and making this big change?
Honestly, what's the worst that can happen? Like, that's realistically, what is the worst thing that can happen if you actually go after your goals? Maybe you fail a little bit, but you can always get back up. And that, I think, itself is the main question that I would ask people is, what's the worst that can happen? And you deserve it.
Yeah. And I can relate to that too, because I have invested in, my gosh, probably over a dozen health and wellness coaches. I've invested in at least a handful of business mentors. And I'll be honest, not every single investment is something that I would ever do again, right? It maybe didn't go the way I thought it was going to be. I even think back one time, a couple of years ago, I invested into this ad agency and I probably dropped about $10,000, and nothing went accordingly. Literally nothing went accordingly at all. It was a disaster. We didn't get any return into it. And sure, maybe that wasn't the smartest investment I made. Although it didn't go the way I wanted, it taught me a lot. It taught me that I wasn't ready for ads, that I was building a very authentic business, attracting people to me. And there was so much more room for me to step into that and grow within that area instead of ads, right? And so I don't see it as something I regret. Yes, that's obviously a big chunk of money that I might have just put down there. But no matter what, like, you're going to learn something from it. Whether it's something you want or something that you don't want, you will grow in some way.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with that.
And we have to sometimes just put ourselves out there and take that risk. You know, life is short. And I do feel it's easier in my 30s to have that mentality where I know you're, what, 25?
26.
26. I feel when I was younger in my 20s, you kind of forget how short life is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I definitely think also it can be how you grew up. Like, if you kind of grew up in a home that was very, you know, you didn't have access to a lot of money, or is very like a scarce mindset, I definitely think that that also can relate to everything that you do as an adult, because that definitely was in the back of my mind whenever I chose to invest. Even now, like, it could be something as little as like shoes or clothes where I'm like, do I really need this? Can I, you know, do I have the money for this? But in all reality too, like, money comes and goes. It's gonna come when you need it, and it's gonna go when you don't.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, because I definitely had to work very hard on my money mindset, because I did grow up more in that scarce environment, and I saw money more in a scarcity headspace. And so, yeah, it took me a lot of just working on my money mindset and learning that money is energy and it is going to come and go. And when we hold on to it and we're so scared about it not coming to us, we're only going to block that energy, right?
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
So something else I wanted to bring up, because I feel that I'm not a mom yet. I do hope that really soon that we will become a mom. But I always feel a little odd just chatting about this, since I obviously can't fully relate yet being a mom. But I hear it all the time inside PFC with clients, or even in clients inside Coaching with Confidence, that because they are a mom, they can't do something. They can't invest into themselves because they have to put their kids first. They got to pay for the ballet or the whatever, the kids sport or or whatever it is that the kids are doing, right? They have to put their kids first. And while I totally understand that your kids are going to be a top priority in your life, I can't relate to the sense that I'm like, if you want to show up fully for your kid and be the best person and be that example, you're also going to have to choose you and invest in yourself.
Yes, and that's honestly, I think parents in general use their kids as an excuse all the time, whether it's to invest in themselves, work on their health, work on their business, whatever it is. People like to use that as an excuse again because it's like kind of like an easy way out versus actually facing the reality of what could be if you go after your dreams or whatever the case is. But as a mom, I use your kids as a motivation versus an excuse or a crutch or, you know, whatever you think is holding you back with that. But kids should definitely be your motivation. And like you said, you are the person that they're looking up to. So if you constantly put yourself on the back burner, never take care of yourself, they're going to see that. They're going to see that it's easier to put everybody else's needs in front of your own. And that is not, if you can't be in the best headspace or in the best physical health, then you can't raise a kid in the best headspace or with the best physical health. So I definitely think that a lot of women, or again, parents in general, just use their kids as an excuse because it's an easy thing to do versus going after their dreams and maybe failing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think the same thing with money. I think sometimes people like to use money as an excuse, right? Because when it comes down to it, if you really need it, a lot of times you can find a way. You can make it work. But I love talking about that with moms because I know that hopefully very soon we'll be on that journey, and I see it as I'm going to have to step up that much more because I want my kids to grow up seeing their mom as a happy version of herself, loving the body that she's in, loving who she is. And that means I've got to really prioritize myself so I can set that powerful example for them.
Being a parent is hard enough. So you don't want a parent in a negative headspace and bad physical health because toddlers, kids in general, are a lot. You have to constantly be up and moving with them. And mentally, like, I know I'm mentally strong. I always have been, especially playing sports. And, you know, I grew up with 5 other siblings, so I kind of, like, stepped into a mom role early in life. But when it's yours and you can't give it to someone, it's really hard. It can be frustrating. And, you know, if you don't know how to regulate yourself and calm down and just, again, prioritize your own needs, it's going to be really hard to prioritize someone else's.
For sure. And to remind yourself, too, that it's going to be that much harder if you try to do it all on your own, right? Having support is going to make you stronger. Like, I always say that reaching out and asking for help is one of the strongest things that you can do.
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Well, as we kind of wrap things up here, I always like to end the podcast on a very positive note, right? And give everyone a positive takeaway. So I'd love to hear what you want to leave everyone with. What is your positive takeaway?
Honestly, you deserve everything in life. You deserve to go after everything that you want. You deserve to spend money on yourself, and you deserve to put yourself first. You don't always have to put yourself on the back burner. You don't always have to put everybody else's needs before yours. You should be your biggest priority so you can show up better for everybody else.
Be your best friend, be your cheerleader. Know that you are meant for more and you are going to accomplish all the things that you put your heart to.
I love it.